Hey, what's up there, dear surfers? Today I want to show you how you can find leaks on your car's AC system. Alright, now in this video I'm just going to quickly show you how you can find a leak on your AC system, but if you're interested in knowing how the whole system works, I'll put a link on this side of the screen to a video I made a while ago just explaining how the whole thing works, what are the different components that make up the system, and how you can also do some basic diagnostics. So if you're interested in that, just go ahead and click on this link. Alright, so to find AC leaks, there's basically a couple of methods. The first one is that you can use an electronic refrigerant detector. Basically, it's an electronic device that detects the amount of refrigerant in the air, and it's going to have a little hose that comes out of it, and you can run that hose by all your different AC lines, by your condenser, air compressor, your expansion valve and whatnot, and once it detects refrigerant in the air, it's going to give an alarm, sound an alarm, then that way you know that you found your leak in that whatever area that you're pointing that at. Now in order to get a good one of those, you probably have to spend a couple $100, and it's not really practical for a do-it-yourselfer. Plus the next method is better in my opinion anyway. And the next method is that you can use automotive refrigerant that has UV dye already pre-mixed with it. And I got this at Walmart for about $15 plus a $10 deposit, which you'll get back once you return the empty can. And it's got about 10 ounces of refrigerant plus the dye, so overall, a pretty good deal. And basically the way this works is you just add this to your AC system, run the AC for about 15-20 minutes, make sure your AC compressor is engaging, and then you get one of these, which is an ultraviolet or a UV light, which you'll basically use to shine on all your different AC lines and different AC components and check for leaks. And the dye that comes in this can will leave a stain wherever refrigerant is leaking out, and then you'll be able to see that leak with this ultraviolet light. Also, I should say that you want to do this in a dark or very low lit area, since the dye will jump out at you more and glow more once you shine the UV light on it. And as you can see, since I already used a little bit of this can, the clear tubing here has become stained a little bit with the dye. So I'll just do a quick demonstration of how it looks, how this thing looks like in the dark for you. Alright, here we go. There. Now you guys can see exactly how bright this thing can glow in the dark once you shine the UV light on it. And the way you're going to add this to your car's AC system is that you're going to have to find the port that's going to be on your low side. Now if you follow your AC lines, which are these guys here that come from your AC condenser, which is in front of your radiator, you're gonna see these two caps usually on the ports, and you're gonna have H for high side, and there's the cap with an L on it for the low side. But if the ports on your car don't come with these caps, don't worry, these will only fit on the low side. In fact, all the refrigerants that you get in a can with these types of adapters at your local auto parts store, they can only go on the low side, which is a smaller fitting. Here, we'll try to fit this over the high side. Nope, not gonna happen. Alright, but before we connect that to the low side, we're gonna get in our car, start the engine, and then turn on our AC and put it to the max. And after we turn on our AC, we want to come out here and check and make sure our AC compressor clutch, which is this guy right here, is engaged. Alright, now as you can see on this car, the compressor clutch is not engaging. Alright, as you saw, the AC compressor clutch on this car is not engaging. Now I know it's because due to low refrigerant. That's really the most common cause of your compressor clutch not engaging. When refrigerant drops below a certain threshold, the AC pressure switch shuts off power to AC compressor so that the clutch doesn't engage and therefore not damage your AC compressor. And if this happens, I suggest you start refilling the system with one of these. And this is refrigerant in a can as well, but it comes with this pressure gauge. Now, the reason you want to start with one of these is that you can read the pressure that's in the system and therefore not overcharge the system. Because there's a chance, obviously, that your compressor clutch not engaging is not due to low refrigerant, and in fact it's due to some other maybe electrical or mechanical problem. Just make sure after you start refilling with one of these, you just stop short of the blue area and then switch over to the other can with the dye in it. Or if you can find it, you can just get one of these that comes with a gauge. With the car running and the AC on, I attach this to the low port, and by the way you attach this is just pull on this. Then you put this on and you let go and it locks in place. And I'm going to do this with the car off so that you guys can actually hear what I'm saying. But what happened next is that I saw that the gauge was near zero, so it showed that the system was pretty much completely empty, which was not a good sign. So I started refilling. And what happened next is that I started hearing a loud hissing sound, which basically meant that the freon I was putting in there was just escaping into the atmosphere, and it wasn't coming from the coupler. Sometimes if you don't put that on right, or if it's not a good one, freon or the refrigerant can escape from there, but not this time. It was coming from somewhere underneath, close to the air compressor, or perhaps the expansion valve, which is back there. I tried feeling for it, but I couldn't really feel any air or refrigerant escaping from any of the connections between the AC lines and the compressor, or the AC lines or the expansion valve. So what I did next was to get the can with the UV dye in it, and then attach that to our low side and start putting that in. Now, like I said earlier, yeah, you're supposed to use this when the AC compressor clutch is engaging, so that the dye has a chance to circulate through the system, and then you can find your leak easier when you're checking it with the UV light. But in our case, it's not going to make a difference, and since I can hear it, but I can't feel it with when I put my hand down there, I'm going to use this and then use the UV light, and that's going to allow us to see where our leak is coming from. Alright, here we go, and as I was afraid this happened, the connector for the can with the dye in it is kind of loose, so it kind of sprayed as I was putting some in it the first time. So it's as you can see, it sprayed all over. You can see it. It's a good this is a good demonstration of how this is going to look, though. But this over here is the connection to the back of our AC compressor. As you can see, I cannot really see any leaks back here. Also back there is our expansion valve, and I don't really see any leaks around that area either. And here's our compressor and the compressor clutch, and I really couldn't see any leaks around here either. Alright, so what I decided to do next was to raise the front of the car and then get underneath and look up, and maybe I could see something from that angle. And then it became evident pretty quickly where it was leaking from. See, now we're underneath the car looking up at the bottom of our AC compressor, and those bright marks are basically the refrigerant with the dye we just put in that are leaking up from the center of our AC compressor. There's probably a seal in the middle of this compressor that has gone bad. Now refrigerant is just leaking out, and our AC system just cannot hold pressure. And there you have it, folks. As you saw, we were able to narrow down where our leaky was coming from fairly easily and also definitively. But a quick couple of tips before I wrap this video up. A lot of times you're going to have leaks from your high and low side, these ports. Actually, the Schrader valves that are inside these things are going to leak. Now, if it's on the low side, you can't really use the UV dye to check for that, because once you put the can that has dye in it, it's going to stain everything, and you can't really tell if it's leaking or not. But what you can do is just fill these up with soapy water and then look at them very, very closely for bubbles. And if you see bubbles, that means the Schrader valves are leaking. Now there's a way to replace the Schrader valves inside these things without evacuating and then recharging the system. It requires a special tool, and what you can do is either just call around, see what AC shops have them. They all should have them, really, and then ask them how much it would cost to just replace the Schrader valves. And this way you can kind of protect yourself instead of just taking your car to the AC shop and telling them, hey, my car is leaking refrigerant. They're probably going to sell you evacuating and then vacuuming and then recharging the AC plus the Schrader valve replacement. Also, now in our case, the leak was pretty evident since we actually heard it, but in a lot of cases it's not gonna be this evident. It's gonna be a smaller leak, and if not the Schrader valve inside these ports, it's gonna be the connections where your AC lines go to your AC condenser or your AC compressor. Wherever there's a connection made, these lines there's going to be O-rings around these lines, and those O-rings go bad from time to time, and then you start getting leaks from there. So if you add UV dye and then you start looking around, don't just jump to conclusions. Check every connection. There's a potential leak at every connection due to those O-rings. And the next question, I guess, is that what we can do about it as a do-it-yourselfer. Now, generally speaking, you should keep away from doing AC repairs. It's specialized repair. It requires special equipment and highly trained professionals. But since this car is hardly worth any amount of money, any amount of significant money, it's a 2001 Elantra with 185,000 miles on it, I'm just going to have a go at it, and I'm going to try to use get a used AC compressor and then a couple other parts, maybe a condenser and stuff, and then try to evacuate. Well, I don't really have to evacuate it since it has a huge leak, but try to run a vacuum on it and then recharge the system myself and see how it goes. And for that video, you're gonna have to stay tuned. It'll probably be up in another week or two once I get all the parts and stuff. So if you like this video, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more like it. Also, might want to consider checking out some of my other videos. I put them up on the screen as video links so you can just click on it. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next time.